What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Man City transfer video. So before I do crack on with today's video, where we're going to be looking at some players that could leave Manchester City this summer and will have huge implications when it comes to the business that Man City choose to do when it comes to the potential incomings. Do make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then do subscribe to my channel. I am currently rolling out daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout the whole summer transfer window here on YouTube for you guys to enjoy. So if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Social media links there in the description as well. If you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description. So if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, and also don't forget to let me know in the comments below which players do you think Manchester City should let go this summer. So to put into a bit of context here, we've got a few players whose contracts are nearing the end. So we already know Kevin De Bruyne is going to be out of contract this summer and will be leaving Manchester City. We know there's a few players whose contracts are up next summer who aren't interested in signing a new contract, and then players could also potentially leave City this summer. And we've already known a couple of players who have already been told by Man City that they haven't got a future at the club and they want them to find new clubs this summer, including some homegrown players. And I have been speaking about in my City transfer updates about Man City's continued need to go out and bring some high quality homegrown players into the squad. With us letting so many homegrown players leave, we do need to replace them with homegrown players, as we're needing some homegrown players to meet the quota when it comes to Premier League registrations and also European competition registrations as well, which both of them along the same lines of we're needing at least eight homegrown players that are classed as homegrown in England, and also we need 4 homegrown players who have been raised by Manchester City's academy. So that's the situation that we're facing heading into the summer transfer window. So having a look then at some potential outgoings and players that I am expecting to leave this summer includes goalkeeper Ederson, who was linked with a move to Saudi Arabia last summer. He was keen on that move. That move never materialised due to the fee, but another year off his contract. Interest once more coming in from Saudi Arabia, and very much looks like he wants to leave Man City. I suspect that will be the case this summer, and City will be looking towards a new number 1 first choice goalkeeper. Another player I'm expecting to leave, who's apparently been told by the club to find a new club, is Kyle Walker. We saw him leave for AC Milan in the January transfer window on a loan deal, with them having an option to buy. It's been revealed in the last couple of days that AC Milan are not taking up that option to buy, and with him having 12 months left on his Manchester City contract, Kyle Walker will have to find a new club, whether that be through a permanent transfer, which we may struggle to do due to Kyle Walker's high wage demands, or a loan until we see out the rest of his contract, which expires next summer. We'll have to wait and see, but with Kyle Walker being an English homegrown player, he would need replacing with another homegrown player. Another player I'm expecting to leave this summer is James McAtee. He's got 12 months left on his Manchester City contract. No talks are underway for him to sign a new contract at the club, and it's very much looking like James McAtee is interested in a move away from City, and this summer's a very good chance for City to cash in and get some cash rather than letting McAtee see out the rest of his contract and then leaving for free next summer. City looking for around £20 to £25 million for McAtee to leave, and as James McAtee is raised by the Manchester City academy, he not only would count as a homegrown player who's English, he'd also class as a homegrown player by the club as well. So it would make sense for Man City to promote somebody from within their academy to replace James McAtee, which is what I suspect will happen here. We know about Kevin De Bruyne, end of his contract on June 30th of this month, and he is off to Napoli, set to complete his medical and sign his contract, and that will be announced at some point this week, so that frees up some space in midfield. Another player I'm expecting to leave, because I just don't see how we're going to make him fit and work in our first team squad, is Claudio Echeverri. I think he's going to be looking for regular first team minutes. I think Man City want him to have regular first team minutes with a club in Europe for 12 months to get that experience, and I feel like Man City, and probably Echeverri as well himself, would feel like he'd benefit more from playing more regularly at another the club for a season rather than him staying around the Man City first team squad and just getting some minutes here and there in the League Cup, in the FA Cup, and the odd 5 minutes here in the Premier League, and the odd 5 minutes here in the Champions League. He spent a good 4 or 5 months around the City first team squad. He's got used to the facilities, he's got used to the culture here in England, and I feel like this summer, if we've not got first team plans for Claudio Echeverri, then I think it would benefit more to send him out on loan where he may get them regular minutes. We've already seen Girona linked with a move for him, if of course they are allowed to loan players once more. From Manchester City, another player that's been told that he can leave the club is Jack Grealish. Man City simply don't want him to be here, and ahead of a World Cup year coming up as well, I think Jack Grealish will be looking for regular first team minutes, so he stands as best a chance as possible to be on the plane to North America ahead of the World Cup next summer with England. So we know there's already a few Premier League clubs interested in Jack Grealish, including Tottenham Hotspur and Newcastle United. So with Jack Grealish potentially leaving Man City, it will open the door to potentially a winger being brought in. But again, that homegrown problem. He is an English player. With him leaving, Kyle Walker leaving, there's a couple of English homegrown players that we need. McAtee, a homegrown player who's English and by the club as well, would need replacing within the academy. And we also know about Kalvin Phillips as well, another homegrown player who Manchester City will look to try and move on. But as he's not currently registered by Man City, it won't have too much of an impact on the homegrown players, but it does once more add to the argument with Man City looking at potentially letting at least 4 homegrown players leave this summer. Man City would need to replace all these players, and we're not really getting linked with many homegrown players other than Morgan Gibbs-White. There's not many names that are homegrown being linked with a move to City, and they need replacing because we've got to meet that quota. If we want to maximise the size of our squad to a maximum number of 25, then we've got to fill them homegrown spots. So that's the situation. And another player I'm almost certain will leave City this summer is Maximo Perrone. He's close to another loan to Como as per their loan agreement from last summer. Como are working towards trying to make that transfer permanent, and that could happen this summer, so I am expecting Maximo Perrone to no longer be a Manchester City player. Now, having a look towards the maybe pile, because I'm not too sure about these players, I suspect most of these players that I name will be staying. So Stefan Ortega, he's been linked with a move to Belgium, he's been linked with a move back to Germany. If he does leave, we are going to need a new number 2 goalkeeper, a backup goalkeeper. Scott Carson got on a 12-month rolling contract. His contract is up in less than a month. Still nothing sorted. I am expecting Scott Carson to sign another 12-month extension, but if he doesn't, we need another third-choice keeper and another homegrown player to replace. Nathan Ake has had a very injury-stricken season. I can't see him leaving though. He is homegrown and it would add more to our homegrown problem, so I don't feel like that is going to be the case that we'd let him go, but we do have the concerns there about proneness to injury. And another player that suffers from being injury prone is John Stones, and he's become not very reliable for Man City. He can't play 3 games in a week. He can't keep himself fit. We can't have him available as an option. We've recently seen him linked with a move to Everton, and I feel like this summer would be a good chance to move John Stones on. But ahead of a World Cup year, he may want the move, but who's going to be able to afford him in terms of a transfer fee and his wage? It becomes very difficult. So I can see John Stones staying, because if we do let him go, again, we're looking at another homegrown player. Ilkay Gundogan signed his contract extension, of course, which was due to an automatic trigger in his current contract, so he stays until the summer of 2026. There is no guarantee that he will stay with City, with interest coming in from Turkey this summer in Ilkay Gundogan. I thought Ilkay Gundogan had a much better second half of the season once he's adapted from his sabbatical that he had in Barcelona. That I think Ilkay Gundogan will see out his contract and stay this summer. Player I'm not so certain about is Mateo Kovacic, who's got interest coming in from Saudi Arabia, and I'm not too sure why, but I've just got a feeling that if a big money offer comes in again from Saudi Arabia, I think Kovacic will be all over that, and City will cash in, he'll cash in, and it will free up a little bit more space in Man City's midfield for a potential signing if Nottingham Forest were to come down on their price, of course. Frees up that space for Morgan Gibbs-White, who is homegrown. Another player, not sure about this one, is Nico O'Reilly. I feel like we need to get him on a new contract ASAP, and I thought we'd have got that sorted before we hit the summer transfer window, but here we are. He was linked with a move in January to Chelsea. I don't suspect Chelsea right now are being linked with a move again for Nico O'Reilly, but I think that's just something to keep an eye on, as again, homegrown player, homegrown by the club, we could really do with keeping hold of Nico O'Reilly and getting him onto a new contract and not letting this go like we are with James McAtee. Another player being linked with the exit door is Matheus Nunes. Some doubts over his future with Premier League clubs showing some interest. We use him as a right back, but Man City being linked with making a move for a traditional proper right back, and that could push Matheus Nunes down the pecking order. And going back to, it's a World Cup year, he'll want to be on the plane to North America with Portugal, so he'll want to be playing regular first team minutes, and if he can't get a look in the City squad, may consider leaving. If he does leave, I can't see it being in the early parts of the window. It can come in the latter parts, maybe into July or August, but again, it's just something to think about. I think Nunes has improved over his couple of seasons that he's been at City, and I'd keep him personally for another season to see how he gets on if he is happy to stay. Another player, Bernardo, who knows, only 12 months left on his contract. If he doesn't leave this summer, he will leave next summer. We could probably get a small fee for him this summer. There's interest coming in from Portugal, interest coming in from Turkey, and one for me to keep my eyes and ears open for this summer, because I don't know which way it's going to go when it comes to Bernardo Silva. So for me, I think we're looking at guaranteed exits away from the club. We're looking at Ederson, Kyle Walker, James McAtee, Kevin De Bruyne, Claudio Echeverri on loan, Jack Grealish, Maximo Perrone, and Kalvin Phillips all leaving the club. If that does happen, then that means City are going to need a new goalkeeper. We're looking at a right back. We need a homegrown player being brought in through the academy for the club to replace McAtee. Needing a couple of central midfielders. I feel like we need a winger, and I reckon we're going to be adding a left back as well. So that's a lot of business that City need to do. Pep Guardiola says he doesn't think there's going to be that many signings, but the antics from the sporting directors, both Chicky and Hugo Boss, are suggesting that this summer's going to be very busy, and they're going to be the ones that make the decisions when it comes to transfers. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen. In terms of any other players potentially coming in, it all depends on what happens with the futures of Bernardo, of Kovacic, Gundogan, Ortega, Carson, Stones, Nunes. All have doubts about their future at Manchester City. I suspect with so many players already pretty much guaranteed leaving, I don't think City will want to change too much, but I think the World Cup next year complicates things with players wanting regular first team minutes. So it will remain very busy in this window, and I can see at least very, very bare minimum 4 players being added. I can see maybe 6, and if there's more players that end up leaving it, it could end up being 7 or 8, which is a ridiculous summer. I don't think that is going to happen. I think we're looking at somewhere between 4 and 6 players, but definitely going to be really interesting, and they're the players I think that do have some doubts over their future, and players that I do think will leave Man City this summer. So in the comments below, do let me know, who do you think is going to leave Man City this summer, and why would you let them go? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe as well if you're new around here. I'll be back later on today with my daily Manchester City transfer update for you guys to enjoy. Remember, that's rolling throughout June, July and August every single day, so I can keep you up to date with all the latest City transfer news on YouTube, so do subscribe. We're on that push now to 44,000 subscribers, less than 100 subs away, so hopefully we can hit that in the next 24 hours. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. And also don't forget social media links, including my X, Instagram and TikTok, are all in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll see you all real soon for the next one. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.